Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Angela. Before I get started, I want to go over my disclaimers. If you are in immediate danger, please call 911 or you can reach out to the domestic hotline at 800-799-SAFE, 800-799-7233. And for mental health resources, reach out to NAMI at 800-950-NAMI, 800-950-6264. You can also text at 741-741. And for additional resources, reach out to the National Suicide Hotline at 988. You can also text or call that number. With that being said, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. So today I want to continue with part 2 of the narcissists and their fears. And part 2 is talking about rejections. And I want to start out with the simple of a rejection. If you say no to a narcissist and you stand firmly on your no because you're disagreeing with something, and it can be as simple as watching something on TV or something to eat. They get really in their heads and in their feelings, and they can become vindictive. And what I mean about that is they'll hold that against you, and you may not even know, because they took the no or the rejection with the okay emotion. They didn't get too upset about it. They just kind of seemed like they went with the flow. And so now you're pretty much put yourself in the line of fire and you don't even know it. But I'll give you an example. We'll have another story time. One time, it was something I can't remember exactly what had upset the ex and what he was mad about until he finally let me know. So anyway, I'll never forget, I was at work and I got a call from my son. And I've taught my children to be respectful, and if they ever have a problem with someone that's in my life, to come to me so I can go to that person and let them know. So this was something really simple and really minute, but the way my ex handled it toward my son was just above and beyond. So anyway, I get a call and my son is telling me what happened, and saying that he didn't want to say anything, but he really got in his face and was yelling at him, and he just wanted me to know. So at that point, because the child that was calling me is my easygoing child. He's not the one to really pop back off. He goes with the flow, and he's just really easygoing. So at this point, when I received a call, I knew it was something more than what he was telling me. So I'm the type of person, I need to hear both sides of the story. So of course I called my now ex, and I asked, I said, what happened between you and my son? And he said, well, they were both just sitting around and pointing at a spider that was coming down the wall. And I said, what? And he said, well, no one was going to get up and do anything about it. And I said, okay, so how big was the spider? And he said, oh, it was the size of a dot. You really couldn't notice it, but they was pointing it out to my granddaughter, and it was coming down on a web. So that's what made it kind of exciting for my granddaughter to see. So he's having a fit, and I said, now, how big was the spider again? He said, oh, it wasn't really that big. It was not even big as a dot. And then, because I'm thinking, no one's going to sit back and let a spider that's big in size crawl down anywhere because it could bite and hurt the child. And so I'm thinking, so what was the argument about? Well, they were just sitting around, so I had to go in and get rid of it. And then I said, make me understand, what are why did you get so upset? Well, they were just sitting around. And then I said, your behavior was out of line according to what both of you all are saying. I said, I'm calling you to see if I got the same story from my son. And he said exactly the same thing. And then I said, you know, this wasn't called for. I said, and you were yelling and screaming at him as if he did something wrong. I said, and I don't get that. And so before I could finish, he started saying, well, you always take other people's sides besides me. And I'm just doing what you did to me as it relates to one of his children. And to tell you about the child that he's talking about, I was defending him. This child got on the phone. His child, she cursed him out, said some things that was really inappropriate to her father. And so I took the phone, because she's on speaker, I took the phone and I told her that you're not going to speak to him that way. And she said some things to me, and I said, well, if you want to act like an adult, then I'm going to treat you that way, but you're not going to speak to him that way. I said, and until you learn how to speak to him, you're not welcome to call. So I told her she couldn't call anymore. And at that time, he was okay. And I, you know, after time went on, I told him, I said, you know, we can call and have a conversation with her. I said, but the way she talked to you, I said, no child is allowed to talk to you that way, whether it's yours or mine. And so I didn't know that he felt a certain way until that day with the spider incident and how he took it out on my child. He said, well, I'm just doing the same thing. You went off on my child, so I went off on your child. And I said, no, I didn't. I actually defended you. I said, because she was in the wrong. I said, this time you're in the wrong. And so we argued about it, and he started bringing up other things. You always seem to tell me no when I want to do certain things. And I said, well, what are you talking about? And he started, you know, bringing up really minute things. I can't ever make my mind up about what I want to eat. I never decide what we should do. I mean, just real childish things. And then I started to realize it's not the things that I'm saying no to. It's just the rejection. There's no control, you know. I've always been a type of person that I can think for myself, and I don't want someone leading and guiding me down a cliff. So if I see that we're heading that way, of course I'm going to speak out. So his thing was, he didn't have any control. So it just seems like every time he said something that didn't make sense, I was rebutting it or rejecting it. So it was like like I said, the simple no's that caused him to freak out and lose control. So now when it gets to the point where we're ending this shamble of a marriage, he gets to the point where he's throwing darts, he's pulling out all the stops. And I decided to take a new approach to it. I decided not to fight with him, but to reject everything, to deflect it and reject it. So he would call and try to get me to start an argument with him. I would hang up the phone. I didn't block him at the time because we were back in the middle of our divorce. So I couldn't block him. So I would just hang up the phone. I wouldn't answer the phone. I stopped listening to messages. He had other people trying to call me. I stopped listening to messages. So there was a big R on my heart for rejection. I was rejecting everything he was bringing to me. And then it went to the point where he started doing his depositions and sending in things to the court. So of course I got to respond to it. And just true lies. And at one point when we stood in front of a judge, the judge said, I see that there's a third party involved, and we're going to talk about this at a later date. And he was talking to my ex. He says, so yeah, there's some things that's really not right in this marriage from what I can see, and we'll talk about it. So things just went back and forth. But it was the point that I was rejecting him, and it's like holding on to a rope and you're losing your grip. You know, as long as it's swinging or it's moving and you can't continue to hold on to, that's where he was. He was in a whirlwind, losing his grip, and the rejections were killing him. You know, he just couldn't take the fact that I wouldn't listen to what he had to say. I wouldn't accept it anymore. So I said all that to say this. That's one of their worst fears. You know, they don't like to be rejected on any level, no matter how small or how big it is. They don't like to be rejected. So if you're in a relationship and this person is trying to be vindictive because you've said no, watch that and make sure that you protect yourself. If you know someone that's going through this, share this video. If you're the one that's going through this, listen to it as many times as you need to. And I will see you again tomorrow with the last fear. And it's a good one. I think you'll enjoy that one as much as you're going to enjoy this one. So please, again, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching.